Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single day between 11 and 12 BST time. And thank you very much for joining us on this Friday, the last day of the month. We're already into April tomorrow. I can't believe how fast the time is going. This year has gone so quickly since the markets have taken that turn to the upside. So let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin to see what is going on here. So we can see on the Crypto Saving Expert website, we have Bitcoin sat at $27,812 and Ethereum sat at $1,790. So we will be doing some Bitcoin analysis at the end of today's stream. But first, we have a huge amount of news to discuss. So let's get straight into it. Before we do though, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We've also been posting some shorts on our YouTube channel within the last week as well. We've got into the short form content in the last week. So taking a look now at our amount of subscribers, we've hit the weekly goal. We were trying to get to 2,800 by the end of the week and we've absolutely done that. So thank you very much to anybody who has subscribed. And if you are a fan of short form content, make sure to go over to our TikTok at Crypto Saving Expert and our Instagram to check out those reels as well, and you'll find more content made by me. So let's take a look at some news now anyway and see what's happening in the markets. First of all, we have that Binance will likely reach a large settlement deal with the CFTC, according to QCP Capital. So let's discuss this a little bit more. Let's make sure that the stream's running smoothly first. We've got this little new layout here that I'm getting positive feedback on so far. I'm going to change the text at the bottom because it is slightly too thin. But we're working on it, getting the streams as good as possible. We're also going to add some intro music to that starting soon phase, I think, as well, just to see you've got a little thing to jam to while you're waiting. Let's take a look at this news article here anyway. So we have Binance will likely reach a large settlement with the CFTC. So for those that don't know, I'm sure you all do, the CFTC have created a lawsuit against Binance saying that, for example, there was a huge amount of accusations within this lawsuit, but one of which was that CZ, the CEO of Binance, has 300 accounts directly or indirectly linked to him, and these are exempt from things like using for money laundering, not money laundering. I can't think of the words. CZ, these accounts were exempt from all of the restrictions that the standard account on Binance is restricted by. It was also accused of insider trading, so using knowledge that only centralized exchanges have, for example, where liquidation points are and where stop losses are. So as a centralized exchange, they can see that there's a huge amount of liquidations at a certain price point. Now they're getting accused of pushing the price, manipulating the price of Bitcoin or any other asset for that matter to that point, and then knowing that the price will continue to fall because of the amount of liquidations at those levels. Now, a huge amount of centralized exchanges have been accused of this over the years. This isn't something new. It's just new that Binance are now getting these allegations. Now, I am a big fan of Binance. I've said this a lot. Binance try and follow regulations very closely, and they always have seemed to do anyway. Whether they do or not is another matter, but they seem to. So I actually quite trust Binance as an exchange that will look after our funds. We also should note that this CFTC lawsuit does not mention anything about Binance using use of funds inappropriately. So it's not a concern in that manner. It's more of a concern in how the internal workings are running, but not a concern as in, hopefully the users' funds are not at risk. So that's what we're seeing here. But let's take a look at this article and see if a settlement will be reached for Binance in the coming months. So the shockwaves in the cryptoverse due to the massive CFTC lawsuit against Binance, CZ, and former Chief Compliance Officer Samuel Lim for violating several federal trading rules has somewhat subsided. In a Twitter market update, the team at QCP Capital pointed out the crypto markets have more or less brushed off the CFTC Binance lawsuit. Now, I completely agree with this. When this first happened, I was expecting to see huge shockwaves within the cryptocurrency and within the prices of the assets as well. really, we did see an immediate dump to the downside, but it literally took a couple of hours and we were back trading sideways again. It wasn't a huge impact like it could have been at the end of last year if this news had come out following the FTX collapse, because we'd seen so much for around centralized exchanges at that point in time. It could have caused the price to drop much more significantly, but at this point in time, people are feeling really positive about the markets. People are looking at Bitcoin as a safe haven to move away from fiat currencies like the US dollar. So it's not all, people are still looking towards Bitcoin as a positive thing. So when things are looking up and a piece of negative news comes out, it's less destroying than when the markets are going down. We hear more FUD and it just continues to cause that domino effect to the downside. I think this could have had a bigger effect in November or December, but right now it's not too bad. We have recovered quite nicely. We will take a look at this over on the Bitcoin chart at the end of today's stream. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Also, while we're on the topic, if you enjoy short form content, make sure to follow us over on TikTok at Crypto Saving Expert and on Instagram at Crypto Saving Expert as well. And thank you so much to James for sending in a super chat with the hashtag Let Jess Have the Super Chats. For those that don't know, we've just been able to monetize the channel. There's like a threshold that you need to reach on YouTube in terms of viewing hours and things like that, and we've reached it. So that means that we'll get more viewers to our videos. Essentially, it's really difficult with YouTube because if you put adverts on your videos, then people have to watch adverts. But if you so it's a negative thing for the viewers, but if you don't put those adverts on, YouTube will push your video to less people. So like you kind of have to put your viewers through these adverts. Also means we can have super chats. So I was speaking to that Martini guy, Jordan, saying who gets the super chats from these live streams, and he said it has to go to the company, which is fair enough because he's spent so much money on the company right now. We've only just gone live, so we're only just starting to bring in some income streams. But he did say if we get some pretty high super chats, maybe some will come my way. James is on a protest here to hashtag Let Jess Have the Super Chats. Let's continue with this. Maybe one day when he comes on the stream and he sees these, he might agree. Fingers crossed. Thank you very much, James, for that. Let's take a look at the rest of this article here and see what's happening. In a Twitter markets update, the team at QCP Capital pointed out that the crypto markets have more or less brushed off the CFTC Binance lawsuit. They also forecasted that the suit would likely conclude in a manner similar to the BitMEX suit by the same regulator, which ended with the exchange paying a huge monetary penalty. Now, this is what I'm expecting to happen. I'm expecting Binance to pay these fines and then continue forwards. We did see just a couple of months ago that Binance were trying to pay off fines, or was it Coinbase? It was one of the major exchanges. They understood that they weren't following regulations when they first launched. They were just a group of software developers trying to create an exchange, and then they realized when they got bigger that they'd missed out on all these regulation. So then they started to pay those fines for their past so that they could move on forwards, following regulation as they should and as closely as possible. Now, this is a big task to follow regulation. You need a whole team of people understanding what's going on with the different regulations and seeing how they change, because they're constantly changing. So it is a big cost to keep up with regulators, but if they do so, they can continue to grow and build and be the leaders of the cryptocurrency industries. So it is really important, but if Binance can get rid of this lawsuit, pay the fines and move forward and continue building the cryptocurrency industry, then that is a positive thing for us. And that is what we want to see out of this lawsuit and something I'm expecting us to see. So we can see here the QCP Capital team explained, markets have largely brushed off the CFTC Binance civil lawsuit, and we tend to agree. It is likely to go the same way as a suit against BitMEX a few years back, where a large settlement was reached to conclude the affair. So taking a look at what happened a couple of years back, we can see here that BitMEX paid $100 million in penalties and its co-founders ordered to pay $30 million. So BitMEX's troubles with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission began in October 2020 when the regulator accused the exchange and its owners of similar violations as those currently facing Binance, CZ and Samuel Lim. So I'd just like to say here, usually we see these charges coming from the SEC, but this one is a similar scenario because it's coming from the CFTC, and that's the same as this Binance lawsuit at the moment. So this is what happened here. It's something that I'm expecting to see again for Binance. We can see here Factoring that Binance is the largest crypto exchange globally in terms of trade volume and users, a prediction can be made that if the CFTC civil suit ends in a settlement, it could be the largest in cryptocurrency history. So it could be a big, huge fine, but as long as we can pay that fine and move forward, that's really important for us as a space, because Binance is one of the leading exchanges and they help onboard millions of users every single year. Now, I don't like to hold much of my cryptocurrencies on centralized exchanges, but I understand the benefits of them. Beginners into the cryptocurrency space may not want to set up a MetaMask wallet and understand how to interact with Uniswap. They just want to buy Bitcoin and leave it for a couple of years. So centralized exchanges make that really easy for beginners to get involved into the space. The same thing with NFTs. I'm not a huge fan of NFTs, but they bring loads of users into the space. I'm also not a fan of meme coins, but they bring loads of users into the space. So all of these things that you may not see as important and disregard because you don't like them are still really useful for the industry because they help bring adoption. So with Binance, we want this to be resolved as quickly as possible so that people don't hear the word Binance and get scared away. There is still it has a positive impact on the cryptocurrency industry, just like Coinbase. I go on and on and on about this. I am so glad that Coinbase is, Coinbase gets so much FUD, but Coinbase has started to step forward and say they want to have clarity on regulation in the US and they're opening campaigns to make that happen and to get cryptocurrency users' voices heard when those regulations are being created. And that is a huge move from Coinbase that I am so impressed by, and I hope other cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance step forward and continue to do the same in this manner of being completely transparent with how they're doing so, because we want regulation in the US and we want clarity around that regulation. We want cryptocurrency users to have an input so that when those regulations come into place, the industry can continue to grow. Complete side note there, but I hope you followed along. A little bit of a rant there. Let's take a look at the next article. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button. James said in the chat, grab a coffee, sit back, like and subscribe. That is exactly what you should all do. I've got my coffee here. Not much left now. It's been a stressful morning. Let's take a look at this next article to see what's going on. We have Gemini set to launch derivatives exchange outside the United States. So the Winklevoss brothers, the creators of Gemini, are preparing to debut an international exchange for crypto derivative trading. People familiar with the matter said the exchange is already in contact with market makers for the new operation. So the offshore exchanges will specifically focus on perpetual futures according to the sources. So these allow traders to hold positions with high leverage sizes indefinitely, which can also be closed at any time. However, such offerings are banned in many regions, including the US, due to the speculative design, which explains why Gemini is targeting new areas. Now, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that perpetual futures is banned in many different jurisdictions. But you can walk into a gambling shop and bet all of your money away like that. But here we are. These are the regulations that we have to abide by. We can see here that nearly 2 weeks ago, Bloomberg cited sources that claim the largest US exchange, Coinbase, is also planning to launch a crypto trading platform overseas. So Gemini and Coinbase's interest in offshore trading platforms comes after the collapse of the second largest trading platform, FTX, which left a huge market share up for grabs in the crypto derivative market. So we've been speaking about this a lot too. There's different areas within the world in the world right now that have a huge amounts of possibilities for different cryptocurrency exchanges. We're seeing in Hong Kong, they're becoming cryptocurrency friendly, trying to become a cryptocurrency hotspot. So exchanges that can become the leading exchange in that jurisdiction can perform incredibly well. Gemini and Coinbase are saying that there's been a gap created from FTX. FTX had all of these customers, and now all of these customers are looking for an alternative exchange. So what's best to do from a big company like this than try and absorb some of those customers? A brilliant move from Gemini and Coinbase in terms of the growing of their platforms. Obviously, we can't use futures in the US, so they're looking to offer those to external clients. It would be interesting to see how they perform in the next couple of weeks. We also saw something similar talking about the market share up for grabs with SVB, with Signature, with the three banks that were crypto friendly in the US going bankrupt. This left a huge market share up to grabs. These banks in the US were their primary users were tech startups and cryptocurrency startups. They were cryptocurrency friendly. Now they've shut down and those have been rebought. Their new owners aren't allowed to offer cryptocurrency companies a business to start with them anymore. So all of these cryptocurrency companies are looking for somewhere else to go, and that creates a huge amount of opportunities for other banks to become cryptocurrency friendly and for DeFi as well. So interesting points here to be made. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I said, we do these every single day, talking about the markets, taking a look at the cryptocurrency news, and predicting the price, well, not predicting, analyzing the price of Bitcoin there as well. So please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We have hit this week's subscriber goal already at 2,800 subscribers. Hopefully we'll reach that 3,000 subscriber level very, very soon. Let's take a look at how many likes we're on today's stream. We've got 9 likes on today's stream. We could do better than that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I would also like to say that the guy that does our thumbnails at Crypto Saving Expert has done a brilliant job today. It's a lovely thumbnail. Let's take a look at the next article here to see what's going on in the world of crypto. There's always something going on. TUSD hires US-based CPA firm for real-time attestations. So TUSD has engaged the services of the network firm for real-time attestations services as TUSD's relevance in the stablecoin markets start to rise. So let's take a look at this. Based in the US, the network firm focuses on the digital asset industry. It has made major strides since 2016 in the development of crypto-native accounting and attestation services, in addition to traditional tax and audit capabilities. So, the real-time attestations through the network firm will enhance TUSD's credibility and transparency. And that is exactly what we need within the cryptocurrency space. Around these different stable coins, around centralized exchanges, we need transparency. TUSD from Tether has received a huge amount of FUD over the years for not being transparent enough with their reserves. But now they've become more and more transparent over the time after they've received so much negativity. And they are still one of the cryptocurrency stablecoins' biggest market share they hold. Taking a look at this though, TUSD is coming in big. So BUSD, Paxos that issue BUSD, has been ordered to stop minting BUSD for the time being. So Binance have actually started listing many different altcoins to pair with TUSD. So TUSD's market share is growing over the last couple of weeks because of this fear around BUSD and Paxos, and because we saw USDC depeg over the weekend, which really has no impact on the price of USDC. It's caused a lot of fear anyway, and people are moving into different stable coins, just like TUSD. So that's what we're seeing here, and they're trying to benefit from this scenario. They're getting a huge amount of attention, and they don't want to ruin that. So they want to get more credibility, and they want to be as transparent as possible so that people continue to trust them going forward and maybe adopt them more and more. So that is what we're seeing there. Its share in the stablecoin arena has grown by 106% since mid-February. So that is a huge amount of growth in just a month and a half. Hopefully this will continue. It's good to see diversification of the stablecoin space, and hopefully that continues. It's good to see different companies popping up. And you can see here Binance has started adding more TUSD trading shares, and as long as we see transparency of these stable coins, I'm all for them. Let's move on to the next article now though, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. I'm going to share with you now on my phone. We have the new Crypto Saving Expert TikTok, where you will find videos of me talking about what's going on in the markets, very nicely edited, very impressed with how they're going. So if you do want to see those, see what's going on in the markets, have a little bit of a market news update, make sure to go to TikTok at Crypto Saving Expert and give us a follow on there. We've just really got it started and it's going very, very well. So if you wouldn't mind taking a look, I would greatly appreciate it. So that's my mission for the next couple of months, grow the TikTok. So if you wouldn't mind helping me, that'd be marvelous. Let's take a look at the next news article here to see what is happening. Again, I have forgot to move my little slideshow of the latest news. We're on to FTX, but that is what we're on to. Perfect. We can see here that we have, we're not on to FTX. We'll be on to FTX shortly. Right, let's take a look at this. We have Vikram says, I trust Binance. Me too. I think Binance is, personally, in my opinion, obviously nothing is financial advice. Binance is a trustworthy source, in my opinion. Just over the years, they've tried to operate in line with the regulations over and over again and be transparent as possible. Hopefully, they will pay this fine and then continue to move forwards, growing the space as much as possible. Let's take a look at this next article here. We have Do Kwon to be tried in Montenegro before extradition to South Korea or the US. We actually saw somewhere here that he said he was shocked about his arrest, and that was being reported last week. But we can see here that the Justice Minister said at a press conference on Wednesday, primacy is given to court proceedings led in Montenegro if they are convicted for the criminal offence of falsifying identification documents. Only after they serve their prison sentence is it expected that they will be extradited. So possibly he could serve a prison sentence in Montenegro before leaving the country and be extradited. So South Korea and the US seek to extradite Do Kwon to face fraud charges related to the multi-billion collapse of Terra Luna and Terra USD. So this is a collapse that happened back in May 2022. I'm sure you've all heard of this. It caused a huge problem within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. We saw many different companies collapse as a repercussion of Luna's collapse, and it kind of had a domino effect across the whole cryptocurrency industry. We did see a fall from $70,000 for Bitcoin down to $16,000, and this was seen as the catalyst for that. Now, I do believe that we were in time to start a bear market anyway. There was always going to be something that we could be labelled a capitalist, but we were about to see that bear market. We're in 4-year cycles, and that hasn't changed. Let's take a look at this. Mr. Kwon has been on the run since the Terraform ecosystem collapse in May 2022. He had been traced in October 22 to having transited from Dubai en route to an unknown destination. In early February, South Korean officials flew to Serbia on a lead that he was hiding out in the country. However, his days as a fugitive ended abruptly last week when he was arrested alongside Han Chang-ju on the tarmac of Montenegro's airport. The two suspects were aboard a private jet bound for Dubai and were in possession of several falsified identification documents, forming the basis of their arrest. So that is a huge piece of news there. We will see this unravel in the next couple of days as well. I expect to hear much more news about this coming out and seeing what is the future for Do Kwon. Now, a lot of people do want him arrested. He did lose a lot of people a lot of money. This collapse of Luna and UST impacted the cryptocurrency industry massively. I was a holder of UST as well. That depegged from the dollar and went down to less than 1 cent. So that was a painful week to be in cryptocurrency. Kind of a glimpse into the future of what 2022 was going to be like, unfortunately. But we are now in 2023 and things are looking up and things are looking incredibly positive. Let's take a look at the next article here to see what's going on. We have making blockchain analysis user-friendly with AI chatbots. So several projects emerging natural large language AI chatbots with block exchanger tools to make blockchain data analytics easier and more intuitive. One of the benefits of using distributed ledger technology as a basis for cryptocurrencies and digital assets is that financial transactions are completely transparent, traceable, and immutable. But retrieving the correct information is not always straightforward, especially for crypto newcomers. Fortunately, several crypto projects are developing GPT-based natural language AI chatbots, that was a mouthful, that can be asked to sift through the vast amount of data stored on-chain and retrieve the most relevant information. So block explorers retrieve data stored on-chain. With every transaction, the blockchain ledger records data. We all know all this. The transaction is assigned a unique transaction ID, and that allows users to check if a transfer has been successful by confirming the number of transactions on the blockchain. We all know all this, but now we can merge ChatGPT with block explorers. So several crypto projects, including CipherTrace, BlockTrace, and Nansen, are developing AI technologies that will make exploring transaction data more intuitive and user-friendly. So in a recent tweet, BlockTrace introduced a new ChatGPT-style Bitcoin block explorer called Robbie the Robot, inviting interested parties to register for beta testing, and Robbie can effectively interpret complex user questions and provide insightful answers. Now, this is really, really useful. On-chain data is really, really useful within cryptocurrencies. So when we have the blockchain, we have all of that data ready to be used, and people can Like, companies can get that on-chain data and create on-chain analytics. Like Glassnode are a company that provide information like this, but having AI that can make that information even more digestible is really important, because it means that a wider range of users can gain access to that information and understand it that little bit clearer, so they can help their own analysis with doing so. So interesting how AI can be used in different ways. I've seen loads of projects online of people using AI to asking it how it can make $100 into $1,000, and it's kind of a game to see how well ChatGPT can perform. And now we're seeing it be used in a slightly different way as well. So very exciting to see what's come from this. As I always say, ChatGPT does frighten me a little bit, but we'll see what unravels. Hopefully there's more good than bad coming from this new technology. And in the past, that is the case. So hopefully that continues. Let's take a look at the next article now to see what's happening. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. And if you haven't already, make sure to go to the Crypto Saving Expert website. It is, I may be a little bit biased, the best cryptocurrency news, guides, courses and market data outlet, where you can learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency all in one place. If you go over to cryptosavingexpert.com and you go to our homepage, you can see here we're already on the homepage, your one-stop crypto shop. We provide everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, and our courses are completely free as well, and that is not common within the cryptocurrency space. So if you wouldn't mind going over to cryptosavingexpert.com, pressing that big blue sign up button, filling in some of creating a account, and then just if you tick that button there as well, you get access to our newsletter every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. BST time. You get access to that newsletter and you get to learn what's happened in the last week of crypto and what we could see in the next week. And we also throw in a little bit of information about some indicators we're keeping an eye on, a little bit of chart analysis, lots of fun things in there. So make sure you get access to that if you haven't already prior to Tuesday's release. Let's take a look at the next article here though. Anyway, let's find out where we were. We were moving on to this one. OKX to open an office in Australia due to a strong uptake of crypto. This is what we were just discussing earlier in today's stream about cryptocurrency exchanges taking advantage of markets that don't have yet a big player in the game. OKX have seen this huge market share that they could take advantage of, and they've decided to move into there, sweep into there and try and get there. If OKX can become the leading exchange within Australia, they can perform very, very well. So this is a strong move from OKX as a company. Let's move on to the next article here quickly. We have Justin Sun reaffirmed status as WTO ambassador to Grenada after reports claimed he lost it. So it was reported that he lost his ambassadorship, long word. Let's take a look in the Caribbean. So the broadcasting network also carried the news in a recently published report regarding the United States SEC lawsuit against Sun. So according to the report, Sun ceased being the World Trade Organization ambassador of Grenada shortly after the country's general election in June 2022, in which the political party that appointed Sun to office, the New National Party, lost the National Democratic Congress. So the positions of all diplomats appointed by the New National Party, including Sun, were reportedly recalled in the early months of the administration of the National Democratic Congress. However, the crypto founder has yet to publicly confirm the loss of the position. And the Twitter profile designed for Sun's diplomatic service still maintains the status His Excellency Mr. Justin Sun, Ambassador Extraordinary and no, that's not a word for me. So we can see here, there's a screenshot here. Sun has reaffirmed his status as permanent representative of Grenada to the WTO, showing a screenshot from the official government website confirming he still holds the position. So he's confirmed that he still has that, and we can see here he's tasked with promoting trade, investment and development opportunities for Grenada as the ambassador of the World Trade Organization, was charged by the United States SEC on March 22nd for offering and selling unregistered securities, crypto asset securities. So that's what we're seeing there. We'll see how this all plays out. He is a big player within the game and he has huge ambitions. I think he's one of the most ambitious ambitious people I've ever seen. He has very big goals for the world of cryptocurrency. It's important to have these ambitions though within the space, and those big players that can push cryptocurrency into different regions. Let's move on to the FTX news here. Let's change the slideshow for today's stream. FTX has a new website in Europe, and this will allow their users to withdraw their assets. So joining FTX Japan, the solvent European arm of bankrupt FTX has launched a new website under the domain name ftxeurope.eu to enable platform users to withdraw their assets. Now, we did speak about this on yesterday's stream, but I would be very interested to know. When I first saw this article, when I saw that it was launching a new website, I thought, what is going on here? Are they creating a new exchange? But it's just for users to withdraw their funds at this point in time. We have heard from the current CEO after SBF was put out on bail, essentially, or since the whole collapse began. We have seen a new CEO of FTX, and he said he's not ruling out creating FTX back into an exchange again. And I would like to know in the chat if you would use an exchange like FTX now that these problems have been removed, or you just stay away from it after what's gone on. Let me know about that in the chat. We have two more articles today. We have Ripple CEO says SEC Chair Gensler behaves like an autocrat. So we can take a look at this article quickly. XRP CEO said the US Security and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler behaves like an autocrat, urging elected officials to take note of the regulator. He commented on a news report where Gensler said there was no additional need for crypto legislation as existing rules cover the sector. Now, this came after the SEC, Gary Gensler, had to speak before the House Appropriations Committee, no questioning him on how he's regulating the cryptocurrency space. And they said, how are we going to make regulation clearer for crypto? And Gary Gensler said that the securities law cover most of the activity that is happening in the cryptocurrency markets. And he basically implied that he has no intentions of making the regulations in the US any clearer anytime soon. So we've seen this is absolutely shocking news because the cryptocurrency community is crying out to have clarity on these regulations. It would mean a whole lot less hassle for cryptocurrency companies, and it would mean a whole lot less lawsuits coming from the SEC in the US. So the fact that they don't want to clarify these regulations, even though we're saying we're trying to abide by them, but they're just not clear, is absolutely insane to me. And the XRP CEO obviously has something, the Ripple CEO obviously has something to say about this, because he has been they've been in a lawsuit for over 2 years now, since December 2020, between the SEC and Ripple. So obviously the guys at Ripple aren't a huge fan of Gary Gensler, as we can imagine. So that's what's being said over here. Let's take a look at the final article we have here. SBF pleads not guilty. This isn't a shocking article to all 13 federal indictments. So we did see that he'd already pleaded guilty to the first charges, but some have been added to the list. I think he only had 6 at first, but now he has 13, and he's pleaded not guilty to all of them. This isn't as a shock to us, as we've already seen him plead not guilty. This just drags out the case a little bit longer. Obviously, if he pleads guilty, these cases could just get him in prison for life. So pleading not guilty gives him a little bit of time to organise what he's going to do next. It'll be interesting to see what happens with SBF. We will keep you updated here on Crypto Saving Expert, the best crypto saving at the crypto website out there, and the best live streams out there. So if you did enjoy this live stream, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest and best cryptocurrency news. Before we go, we are going to do a little bit of Bitcoin analysis to see what's in store over the weekend. It is Friday, so we could have a CME gap be created before Monday. Let's take a look first at the 4-hour chart, and then we'll take a look at the CME chart here. So as you can see here, we have some strong levels of support at $26,600 and $26,900 here. I would also say we could connect the dots from this level here and this level here, and I wonder if this plays out kind of. So if we take a look at this point here is acted like a support, and here and here. So this at 27,150 is something I'm looking at as a level of support. In terms of resistance, I would definitely say we are now in a resistance zone. So let's get out the rectangle and draw this around here between the $28,600 level to the $28,750 level. That is acting like a level of resistance right now. So we're going to, I imagine, bounce within this range for a set period of time. If we take a look at this green line here and this zone here, we can see we are in an ascending triangle, which has a higher probability of breaking to the upside. We'll all be glad to know. So fingers crossed we do see some nice movement. I'm expecting us to see some sideways action over the weekend. As always, we have a CME gap that's going to open tonight, and the CME gap usually acts like a magnet for the price of Bitcoin. If we take a look at the daily chart, we can see here we have a CME gap down at $20,400 and we have one up at $35,300. So they're both acting like magnets for the Bitcoin price. What I don't like to see personally is a big move to the upside over the weekend, because that means we've got another CME gap underneath us acting like a magnet. So that's what we've got to keep an eye on. But I'm expecting sideways action this weekend within that triangle. So between that $28,700 range to the $27,170 range. I'm expecting us to stay within this for now. Let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Obviously, nothing is financial advice, and we are currently sat at 63, so a little bit higher than yesterday, despite just seeing some sideways action within this range. So we'll see how this plays out over the weekend, and we will report back on Monday. That is all we have for today's stream, though, so thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I've really enjoyed it, and I hope all of you have as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will see you all back here on Monday morning. Goodbye.